NEXA National Association of Students of Architecture NASA Conventional Trophy 2013 to 2014 Laterites. Laterites are soil types rich in iron and aluminium, formed in hot and wet tropical areas. Nearly all laterites are rusty red because of iron oxides. They develop by intensive and long-lasting weathering of the underlying parent rock. Tropical weathering laterization is a prolonged process of chemical weathering which produces a wide variety in the thickness, grade, chemistry and/or mineralogy of the resulting soils. The majority of the land area containing laterites is between the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn. Historically, laterite was cut into brick-like shapes and used in monument building. After 1000 CE, construction at Angkor Wat and other Southeast Asian sites changed to rectangular temple enclosures made of laterite, brick and stone. Since the mid-1970s, trial sections of bituminous-surfaced low-volume roads have used laterite in place of stone as a base course. Thick laterite layers are porous and slightly permeable, so the layers can function as aquifers in rural areas. Locally available laterites are used in an acid solution, followed by precipitation to remove phosphorus and heavy metals at sewage treatment facilities. Laterites are a source of aluminium ore. The ore exists largely in clay minerals and the hydroxides, gibbsite, baemite, and disport, which resembles the composition of bauxite. In Northern Ireland they once provided a major source of iron and aluminium ores. Laterite ores also were the early major source of nickel.
Laterite is a reddish weathering product of basalt. At least this is what it is in India, where this rock or a soil type was first defined by a Scottish scientist Francis Buchanan Hamilton in 1807. However, not all laterites are enriched in iron and sometimes they are not even reddish. Some lateritic rocks, bauxite, are mined because of their high aluminum content. Iron-rich laterite is mostly used as a construction stone, especially in Asia. Laterite is a residual material. Laterite is foremostly a type of earthy soil, but it hardens into solid rock in air and is therefore suitable as a construction material. Lateritic soil almost lacks fertility and is generally not suitable for agriculture. Certain conditions are needed for the laterite deposits to form. Modern examples are found in climatic regions which are characterized by warm air temperature, abundant rainfall, and dry periods. Lateritic soils are common in savannas but not in rine forests and jungles, where clay is dominant in soil, which lack dry period. Modern laterite deposits are also unknown in temperate regions where weathering largely means the formation of clay minerals instead of lateritic soils.
Laterites are naturally occurring materials which are widely used in building construction. These stones were used historically as an important construction material. These stones are soft and can be easily cut using blades. They becomes harder as they become exposed to air and water and becomes stronger. We have studied about various materials. This is also one the important, cost-efficient and natural building material used in construction. The laterite stone. Laterites are soil types rich in iron and aluminum, formed in hot and wet tropical areas. Nearly all laterites are rusty red because of iron oxides. They develop by intensive and long-lasting weathering of the underlying parent rock. Tropical weathering is a prolonged process of chemical weathering which produces a wide variety in the thickness, grade, chemistry and/or mineralogy of the resulting soils. This is a laterite quarry in Cheruvashiri, which is in Kerala. The laterite rocks are cut using specially made machines. They are soft before excavation and tend to become harder as they are exposed to air and water. Once they become exposed, they resist air and moisture more than bricks. They are cut into sizes of 31 by 21 by 19. This quarry is about 400 acres and they extract about 1,000 to 2,000 blocks per day. There are about 100 trucks coming to the site and they export around 250 blocks per load. The price of one block is around 20 to 55 rupees. The cost varies according to quality. The laterite rocks are harder when exposed to air and it should be removed before quarrying. The upper exposed part cannot be used and so this is a quarry in Kerala where laterite stones are extracted from its ores. With construction costs going up sharply in recent times due to the increase in the price of materials, people are trying to innovate to prevent their budgets from going out of hand. One way out is to find building materials that cost less but are strong at the same time. Laterite stone is perhaps one such material that is strong and relatively cheap too. One can save up to 40% of construction cost by using laterite stones. Of the various soil types that occur in the tropics and subtropics, laterites are of special interest in conjunction with building construction. These are highly weathered soils, which contain large, though extremely variable, proportions of iron and aluminum oxides, as well as quartz and other minerals. They are found abundantly in the tropics and subtropics, where they generally occur just below the surface of wide grasslands or forest clearings in regions with high rainfall. The colors can vary from ochre through red, brown, violet to black, depending largely on the concentration of iron oxides. The special characteristics of laterites, by which they differ from other soils, are soft occurrences tend to harden on exposure to air, which is why blocks have traditionally been cut in situ, allowed to harden and then used for masonry wall construction. Hence the name was derived from later, the Latin word for brick. The darker the laterite, the harder, heavier and more resistant to moisture it is. Some laterites are found to have a polysilicate reaction when mixed with lime, producing hard and durable building. Laterite is well known in Asian countries as a building material for more than 1,000 years. It was excavated from the soil and cut in form of large blocks. Temples at Akka are famous examples for this early use. At begin of the 19th century it obtained scientific interest when the English surgeon Francis Buchanan travelled along the western coast of southern India and published his manifold observations and results. He coined the term laterite when he wrote, 1807, "What I have called indorate clay is one of the most valuable materials for building. It is diffused in immense masses, without any appearance of stratification and is placed over the granite that forms the basis of Malayalam. It is full of cavities and pores, and contains a very large quantity of iron in the form of yellow and red ochres. In the mass, while excluded from the air, it is so soft, that any iron instrument readily cuts it, and is dug up in square masses with a pickaxe, and immediately cut into the shape wanted with a trowel, or large knife. It becomes as hard as brick, and resists the air and water much better than any brick. The most proper English name would be laterite, from laterites, the appellation that may be given to it in science materials. A modern laterite definition should comprise all products of intensive tropical weathering independent of their parent rocks, which strongly control the composition and the property of the weathering product. Red-brown laterites on granites, granitic gneisses, clays and shales are generally hard or harden after drying, whereas laterites and basalts are commonly friable and show an intensive reddish color. Lateralizatio on alkaline rocks often results in formation of highly aluminous laterites, bauxites, with light color. On ultramafic rocks forms very soft, yellow-brown nickel-bearing goethite. The described weathering products are formed by the same fundamental weathering process and can therefore be interpreted as different members of a laterite family. The laterite is either cut using a machine cutter blade or is blasted or cut using a hydraulic cutting tool seen with the heavy excavating machines. The laterite so cut instead of having it as a regular brick can be used as rubble for paving underneath foundations or used as stones for rubble masonry as what can be seen in Swaswara. This can be used as a filler material for plumb concrete wherein the concrete structures are massive and heavy retaining walls of not less than 60 cm thickness etc. The compressive strength of laterite is around 120 kg/sqcm. Taking this strength, the thickness required will be very less. However, the character of laterite is so that a minimum thickness of at least 30 cm will be required to avoid breaking when quarrying out. Laterite extraction at site is possible, but the really hard upper layer has to be removed first to reach the soft layers below. Then the extraction can be done with the locally available tools. Hopefully this can be arranged from the local people. However, quarrying of stones might need permissions. This can be resolved by extraction only from the site where excavation is required. Laterite stones, called vetakalu in local language, are abundant in the Midlands of Kerala. These are relatively soft stones that could be dressed and cut with ease. In fact, laterite gains in strength on exposure to sun and air, making it an ideal building material.